As you may already know, we are living in the age of entitlement. If you're not aware of this, please see my previous videos. One of the aspects of the age of entitlement is that we are all free from being offended. In other words, society at large should protect us from anything that can offend us. Being offended is easy. It doesn't have to be something that insults us personally, at least not anymore. It can be something that just disagrees with our beliefs. It's that simple. I can be offended at just about anything, and it is not only my right to do so, but my right and privilege to let you know that you've offended me and to demand and receive an apology. Being offended is an art form these days. And when I say that anything can be and is offensive, I mean it. Anything is offensive. If I tell you I prefer dogs to cats, that's offensive to cats. It's also offensive to people who like cats. You can't say things like that. You simply can't give your opinion on anything because you'll always be offending someone, and no one should ever be offended. It doesn't matter if 99 people agree with you. Even if that one person is offended, then you are wrong. You are a bad person, and you will be shamed and labeled as an ist, a catist, dogist, bookist, racist, sexist, etc., for the rest of your life. It doesn't even matter if you're at a cat lovers convention. You could be at an event that is specifically catered to you and people with similar interests. There will probably be someone there who has gone to this convention just to be offended. There are people out there who make a point of going to events dedicated and catered to people who think, feel, act, and behave differently than they do. Then, they sit and listen to and speak with the attendees of such events, and naturally, they are very offended at what is being said. Now, let's say I'm a dog lover and I attend a cat lovers convention. I hate cats. I'm allergic to them or something. I sit through talks about how cats are superior to pets to dogs, how they are more intelligent, independent, and self sufficient. Oh, this is all very offensive to me. Not just me, of course, but my dogs, who are not even in attendance, but will surely be offended when I go home and tell them what was said about them. Now, not only is this not stupid beyond the most literal sense possible, not only is this not beyond ludicrous and incomprehensible, it's my right and duty to be offended by it. Now, let's not use common sense here. Let's not talk about how, first of all, dogs have no feelings and therefore can't be offended. Never mind that even if they did have feelings, they don't understand human language and can therefore not be offended by what we say. Dogs don't have that capability. Dogs can't be offended. But beyond that, even if that weren't stupid enough, let's also not talk about the fact that if I'm a dog lover, I shouldn't be frequenting a cat lovers convention. Let's take a moment here to say something very important. I'm not saying that if you disagree with something, you shouldn't attend a convention, meeting, or speech about that. I'm not saying you should only listen to or attend speeches that adhere to your beliefs. I think that listening to opposing viewpoints is very healthy, and everyone should be in the habit of reading, listening to, researching both sides of an issue. However, there's a line that we need to draw. If you're going to a cat lovers convention and you are a die-hard dog lover, you need to understand that you will be hearing and seeing things with which you may not agree. And if this is a hardcore cat lovers convention, you may even see or hear things that may be a bit offensive to you. That is knowledge with which you should go into an event such as this. You must be prepared mentally for what is to come. You can't be outraged because you attend a meeting for a group with an opposing viewpoint. You knew what you were getting into. I mean, let me clarify. Feel free to be outraged. That is your right. But also, shut up. If you don't like it, leave. If you are that outraged, stage your own meeting or convention. Frankly, if you are a dog lover, don't attend a cat lovers meeting if the only purpose is for you to become outraged and offended. Now, This is a concept that is apparently foreign to today's entitled people. Now, this cat versus dog example is a bit farcical, but in reality, it's not too far from the truth. There are meetings and speeches all of the time for all sorts of issues, and inevitably, some of these issues are going to be divisive. Well, if there is such a speech or meeting or convention, there are a few things, as an opponent of the views expressed in these speeches, meetings, or conventions, that I can do. Well, first of all, I can not attend. If I'm a hardcore pro-lifer, you probably won't see me attending a pro-choice rally. If I'm black, you won't see me at a neo-Nazi gathering. If I feel like I'm going to be extremely offended by something, it's simple to not attend or participate. That's pretty much common sense. Second, I can hold a counter rally. If I know that there's going to be a KKK rally in my town, I can easily organize an anti KKK rally or a freedom and equality rally. That way, I can associate with like minded people, and we can also tell others the error of the KKK's mentality. It's simple enough. Those seem like simple enough solutions, right? Either don't attend at all or hold a counter rally. If you want to hold a speech about abortion rights, that's fine. I'll later make sure we get one about pro-life. That's only right and that's only fair. Well, what are some counterproductive ways of dealing with, say, a guest speaker coming to my university? And this speaker is, of course, going to be speaking about something with which I disagree. What can I do that is the opposite of productive? Well, I could attend the meeting and disrupt it. I could also try to get the meeting canceled. Those are both very bad things. Everyone should have the right to have their opinion heard. I said this in a previous video. Everyone, no matter what they are saying, should have the right to speak and give their opinions on any issue. That's called freedom of speech. As long as what is being said is not causing direct harm, it is protected by the Constitution of the United States of America, and most other countries have similar rights. You are allowed to speak. You are allowed to rally and march. You have the right to do so, and you should have the right to do so, and people should not come and interrupt or disrupt or sabotage. You have the right to not agree with me, but you shouldn't sabotage, because I have just as much right to speak my mind as you do. People who sabotage are essentially anti-free speech. It's that simple. People who do things like that are anti-free speech. Therefore, free speech, as long as that speech agrees with what they think or feel or believe. But the moment someone says something that contradicts their personal beliefs, then they are no longer welcome to speak. They are no longer free to speak their minds. They must be silenced. But in the event that my university does not cancel the speaker, despite my best efforts, well, then it's time to take preventive measures. Knowing that this speaker is going to be saying things that are offensive to me, I need to start warning people that there are going to be offensive things that are being talked about. It's only right. People need to know that they are entering an unsafe zone, a place where their sensibilities may be damaged. You see, this is the second big problem we are facing in this broad subject of taking offense and being offended. Because everyone that is growing up today has been coddled for so long, because everyone has received participation trophies, and because everyone is special and unique, because everyone has the right to be free from seeing or listening to anything that may offend them, no one is equipped with life skills to deal with subject matter that they either do not agree with or don't understand. What happens when you are told that you should have the right to be free from offensive material? You avoid it. When you avoid an issue, you are not equipped intellectually to deal with it in the event that you can't avoid it. This is why it's important to not avoid such things. It's important to be exposed to things that may not be comfortable. It's unhealthy to only associate yourself with people who only think like you do, or to avoid conflict. It's an old adage that conflict or hardship builds character. The joke goes that anything that is unpleasant builds character. I remember an old Calvin and Hobbes cartoon where Calvin's dad takes him out fishing. They're sitting in their canoe in the pouring rain. Everyone is miserable, but Calvin's dad says that it builds character. Well, obviously, that's said and done in jest. However, often, hardships and uncomfortable or unpleasant situations do build character. They give you the experience to learn how to deal with situations in which you may not be comfortable. It's important to be exposed to these things because the world is not always going to cater to your feeling. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. In fact, it is quite more probable that once you get into the real world, obviously that's said and done in jest. However, often, hardships and uncomfortable or unpleasant situations do build character. They give you the experience to learn how to deal with situations in which you may not be comfortable. There's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. It's important to be exposed to these things because the world is not always going to cater to your feelings. In fact, it is quite more probable that once you get into the real world, you're going to be faced with many situations that make you feel uncomfortable. Trials and hardships are what Trials and hardships are part of being human. You deal with these things, how you deal with these things will determine whether or not you are successful in life. Being protected and coddled in college and university is not the way to prepare yourself for the real world. You're doing yourself a great disservice by avoiding all conflict. But this is something that we are seeing today. On certain websites, we are seeing something called trigger warnings. These are little disclaimers at the beginning of videos or articles, letting people know that there may be offensive topics being discussed, little bits of coddling. Trigger warnings are even being placed in college and university class syllabi. Warning! This class may cover subject matter that may be triggering. What on earth is wrong with you? Grow up! This is absolutely absurd. That is not how you educate fully functional adults. These are people that are going to run and hide under their bed at the first sign of anything hard or that they disagree with. It's pathetic. And I'm not joking either. This is really happening. In universities of such high renown as Brown, this is happening. Just this year, in March of 2015, a safe space was set up for people to go into in case they were offended by what was said in a debate. This room was full of plush places to sit, juice and cookies, soothing music, and a video of puppies playing. That sounds like a room for preschoolers, right? Well, it is, because that's what people who use these rooms are. They're preschoolers. They're people, adults, with the life skills of a toddler. Safe spaces. Setting up a safe space means that other spaces are not safe. Otherwise, there would be no need for the safe space. What sorts of spaces are not safe? The street? A college classroom? You can't have a true intellectual debate and a safe space in the same space. They are mutually exclusive. If I'm speaking about something that may insult or offend you, and suddenly I'm not allowed to speak about that, then that opens the door for a myriad of topics and subjects that are suddenly no longer acceptable to discuss. Classrooms cannot be safe spaces. But the fact that certain groups are trying to make all college and university campuses safe spaces is exactly what I was talking about when I said that these people are against free speech. They don't want it. They don't want people to have the freedom to speak. They want to have the right to be free from opposing viewpoints. That is the type of adult the education system is producing. College and university is for the edification of the mind. In my last video, I spoke about the importance of education and what it means to me. Apart from keeping it as propaganda free as possible, we should also keep it as free speech full as possible. I made it clear I want all opinions heard and talked about. What I don't want, and what we don't need, is only one side to be allowed to be spoken about. It's not even that only one is discussed, it's to the point that the other point of view is not even allowed because it could be offensive to someone. Who are these haters of free speech? Who are these people who want to coddle everyone, to make sure that no one is ever offended or hurt? Who are these people who don't want anyone to ever have to defend their opinions with facts or evidence, and in fact, just want only their opinions heard? Who are these fascists that George Orwell warned us about? Well, that's for another time. We'll point out the culprits later. For now, I just want you to focus on what's important, and that is the stifling of free speech and free thought in today's colleges and universities. When lies and propaganda are being taught as truth, and opposing views are silenced, that is a problem. When people are wrapped up in cotton and hidden in safe spaces with cookies and juice whenever someone may say something that disagrees with their beliefs or opinions, that is a problem. It's a problem not only for the generation going through this, but for everyone, the people already past this, the generations to come, everyone. College and university shouldn't be a place for coddling. It shouldn't be a place for only listening to one narrative or one line of thought. Parents, if you are listening, stop protecting your kids. If you are entering college, broaden your mind. Experience the things that will help you in the real world. Running and hiding at the first sign of trouble is going to hurt you in the long run. Believe me.